It seems to be another normal day in the city, until suddenly, a traffic jam causes a commotion among the local drivers. A businessman has suddenly stopped his car in the middle of the street, and the businessman gets off. The thief drives away with the car. The businessman is left lost outside, but the thief returned seconds later, pretending to be a different person to help him reach his apartment, offering his company for the afternoon this time, and kicks the thief out once he's safe at home. A few hours later, the businessman's wife arrives, and as soon as she learns about her husband's blindness, she takes him to see a specialist. No matter what machine the doctor uses to check the businessman's eyes, he can't find any signs of damage, which means it must be neurological. The businessman will have to go to a hospital and get some tests done there, which include a child, a woman with sunglasses, and a man with an eye patch. The thief is driving the stolen car around town. He ends up going to the police for help, and when an officer takes him to his old home, his ex-wife refuses to let him in. Later in the evening, Sunglasses Woman goes to a hotel when she suddenly starts freaking out as her vision goes white too. The doctor goes home to have a lovely dinner with his wife, and all goes well, and he also finds himself unable to see. They call the hospital because the child is there too, unable to see as well. Soon, cases of sudden blindness begin appearing all over the city, and the government begins taking the first steps to stop it. The doctor's office is closed by the authorities, and the doctor himself is taken away to be quarantined. His wife can't stand the idea of being away from him, so she decides to lie, has a phone, to contact the guards outside. But it can only be used for emergencies, and each ward must have a representative as the only person that can use it. Soon, more people start arriving, like the thief, the sunglasses woman, the kid, and the businessman. The thief walks behind Sunglasses Woman and gets a little too handsy by kicking him in the leg. Her heel causes a serious wound that the doctor and his wife end up bandaging with a shirt because there's no first aid kit around. The doctor's wife can't sleep thinking about a possible infection and afraid she may wake up blind too. The doctor tries to get frisky with her, but she prefers to take a walk to deal with her worries, and the businessman gets to reunite with his wife, while the kid laments that his mother hasn't shown up yet. The doctor and his wife try to talk to the guards, but the guards don't cooperate. They just point their weapons at them. Sometime later, they receive their first box of food, which is as bad as a school or prison cafeteria. The doctor's wife tries using the emergency phone to ask for more food and a first aid kit, but nobody picks up her call, and each day, more and more infected people are sent to the asylum. The doctor's wife ties a cloth line between wards as a guide, and the doctor's chosen as representative, and people begin wandering around without clothes and relieving themselves in the middle of the hallway. The businessman tries to keep his mood up by chatting with his wife about their young days, but his wife can't stand to even think about happier times. One afternoon, the doctor's wife hears a noise and discovers Eyepatch Man has a radio with him that he has been listening to. She convinces him to share the news with everyone. Eyepatch Man explains that there aren't many stations left, but he got the general gist of it. There were hundreds of cases, which the government simply solved by sending the blind people to the asylum and asking everyone else to stay home. Then, the general public had to watch how specialists around the world got together to have conferences where they used lots of words to just say they didn't know what was going on. But soldiers were on watch and arrested anyone breaking the rules. The city became chaos, and even planes began to fall as well. Citizens began getting scared and decided to stay home after all. So now the city is a desert, and the government is doing nothing about it because they're blind as well. The sound of the gunshot triggers people's panic, and everyone rushes inside by pushing each other without a care, and even breaking the doors. The worst part is, the soldiers don't even come to pick up the body. The doctor's wife requests a shovel, which the soldiers throw in the middle of the yard without moving from their towers. Since the doctor's wife is still pretending to be blind, and the soldiers mess around with her until she finds the shovel and gives them the finger. Meanwhile, the doctor is trying to communicate with the representatives of the other wards to coordinate the burials. One of the wards is taking more food than their fair share. The bartender gets tired of hearing the doctor act as a leader and declares himself King of Ward 3. Later, the doctor's wife goes to check on the thief, who has a fever because his legs got a serious infection. She tries to stay supportive, but the thief suddenly threatens her as he reveals he knows she isn't blind, causing the wife to rush back to her husband and finally have a breakdown. So he drags his body outside and lets the soldiers shoot him. The doctor's wife feels guilty if she should tell everyone the truth, but the doctor forbids her to do it over the fact their relationship has become something more like a nurse and a patient instead of a marriage. The bartender manages to find the asylum's administrative office with the help of the accountant, a fellow Ward 3 member that has been blind since he was born, meaning he has a better grasp of how to live like this. Using the PA system, the bartender announces he'll take control of the whole asylum as its king. And the first new rule, this rule isn't well received, and soon there's chaos near the food storage as everyone fights to get access. He managed to keep a handgun with him when he was brought to the asylum with a warning shot. He sends everyone back and takes control of the food storage, announcing they'll be guarding it all day long and threatening to shoot anyone that tries to steal. Some people consider not playing along, but it's too dangerous when the enemy has a weapon. The doctor's wife begins collecting everything she can from the people in her ward, from jewelry that includes wedding rings to anything that they can find in their pockets. The accountant is using his experience to identify the quality of the objects they're brought by touching them. No matter how expensive the jewelry is, though, the bartender only assigns a couple of boxes per ward and threatens anyone that dares to complain. People find themselves having to share one-person meals, and the doctor keeps to himself, not in the mood to keep his leadership kindness up when he feels like a failure, reminding him there's nothing he can do against a gun, and the two of them end up getting frisky on the floor. The doctor's wife finds them while they're finishing, but instead of making a scene, she tells Sunglasses Woman that she can see, asking her to keep the secret. A week later, once everyone in the asylum has run out of things to pay with, the bartender announces that they'll take service from women in exchange for food. The doctor's wife goes outside to demand to know why new rations haven't arrived, and the soldiers explain they've given them all they have, so rationing is up to them, deciding on how to proceed, and the doctor cuts it short, pointing out it's not up to them to make the women do anything. If anyone wants to volunteer, it's up to them, but there won't be any judging or pressure from anyone else. After lots of thinking, one of the women finally volunteers, inspiring others like the doctor's wife and Sunglasses Women to do the same. Businessman doesn't want his wife to go and tries to forbid it, but the wife reminds him she shouldn't be treated any differently and goes anyway. The accountant comes to pick the women up and takes them to the food storage room where they have the worst night of their lives. In the morning, the doctor's wife asks for someone else to go and pick up the food because the women have come back with the body in their hands, ready to clean her up and give her the goodbye she deserves, where everyone is distracted by the women from Ward 2. She kills the bartender with the scissors before dragging the girls with her while the accountant realizes what has happened and retrieves the gun. But none of his shots land. On her way out, the doctor's wife makes an announcement of her own. If they don't release the food, more men worries this will start a war, and he's right. Ward 3 barricades the area and still doesn't release the food. Ward 1 gets ready to fight, but before they can do anything, one of the women decides to take revenge. She's kept a lighter hidden in her pocket all this time, and she uses it to sneak into Ward 3 and start a fire. The flames are quick to spread, killing many men. The doctor's wife guides them out of the building. Surprisingly, nobody gets shot because the guards aren't even in their towers anymore. The doors aren't locked either, which can only mean one thing: they're finally free. The doctor, his wife, the kid, eye patch man, sunglasses woman, the businessman, and his wife decide to stick together as they make their way downtown, where they discover society has collapsed. The city has become a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Some animals are even feeding on bodies. The doctor and his wife leave the group hidden inside a bar while they go to the nearest market to see if they can find some food. The church is incredibly crowded, and all the statues have had their eyes covered, yet a priest won't stop promoting the word of God. Outside, people are taking the chance to collect water and wash their bodies, since they hadn't had clean water in a long time. The doctor comes back with the clothes and picks up his wife to rejoin the group, with the dog following them, becoming their new companion. The group eats some rations inside the bar and decides to stay the night there to rest properly. Then, in the morning, they go out again, carefully walking through the city to reach the house of the doctor and his wife, who have offered to share it with everyone.